10 minutes.
Good. And thanks, Minister, indeed. And I do appreciate, as I said at the start, your interest and your engagement with the families in this situation. Thank to all the other deputies, Deputy Cahill, Deputy Brown and Deputy Ferris. And indeed, I sympathise with Deputy Ferris on losing his good friend 20 years ago. No one likes to lose a loved one, whether it's through serious illness, but above all through tragedy. And indeed, this International Mental Health Day, from suicide or anything else, there are always questions to be answered, but when you see poor investigations, it's sad. And again, to salute Anne-Marie for her Trojan work, not in a selfish way, but in a selfless way, to get this amendment changed. And I welcome Minister Ross that you have appointed new members of the board and you have gone through the prerequisite experience, and I do appreciate that. But I really am delighted and pleased that you're accepting this stage 2 of this amendment bill here this evening, and hopefully the Merchant Shipping Investigation and Marine Casualties Amendment Bill 2019, and hopefully, you know, when it goes to committee and back here again, that you will be as willing and as engaging to move it forward, because everybody in the House has agreed, and I know we have nobody from Labour. I did think that Deputy Kelly would be here, and Tipperary TD, and our Deputy Healy, but or indeed Deputy Lowry, nobody has any difference or any opposition. Everyone sees this for the greater good, but for the greater good, wherever any of us be. And you know, it'll be a salutary piece of legislation if it gets going on to the next stage and committee stage and back to both houses to debate. And maybe it'll be enhanced and beefed up, and other misgivings and areas that other minds greater than mine can see, we can see, and maybe make other amendments, and we'll have them debated. And debate is always healthy, But as I said, Deputy Ferris mentioned the bow wave, and the bow wave certainly called it. As I mentioned the Barry family, and one of them died very tragically some months ago. And I can't think of the name of the show here on television, talking about the broadcasting bill last night, who made an appeal to come along and finish the man's house, and they did very successfully, a number of days. And Anne-Marie's dad, who was up here, spent 3 days as a tradesman helping out in that. The spirit of the Mill and what they do in Ireland, and many of the people who came, contrary to my belief, came from Dublin, tradespersons, to help build this house in 9 days. The house was started and the man got tragically ill. One of the witnesses that came forward. But there was never a public appeal. And this is not to do with you, Minister, but when the accident happened, there was never a public appeal made for information. If there's an accident tonight anywhere, and I hope there won't be, but if there's a casualty or a very, very serious injury, the Gardaí will put out a public appeal for information. And the area will be sealed and sealed off. And diversions up country roads in my area, we had one last night between Clonmel and Cahir, and huge inconvenience, and rightly so. And every step is taken to ensure that all evidence that the scene of the accident or incident is preserved. And this didn't happen at sea, because neither the Guardian nor the Marine Casualty Board didn't go at sea. So it was a dúirt ban lum, go dúirt ban lay. That's a woman told me that a woman told her kind of thing. And the family were expected to take this, accept this. And the family were told, you know, on the morning, that evening, that the two lads had great difficulty launching the rig, and they were supposed to be staggering and supposed to be drunk. What horrible things to have suggested to them, or what was the motive in having those things suggested to them, when it was clear in the autopsy report that they hadn't any such thing? And I mean, there was a concerted effort from the very start to divert attention from the boat that capsized this rig, and no investigation whatsoever. And I got, as I said, I had contact from the coroner when I was writing to them. I had contact from other areas as well to keep out of this. Don't get involved. There's a lot of stuff there you'd want to know. That's murky and dirty and not nice carry on from the agency of the state. And John O'Brien's dad is sitting in the gallery with Anne-Marie. And he asked, as did Pat Esmond's dad, that the boat, the rig, be destroyed the day after. They were emotional, they were horrified, they were traumatised. But they asked the Gardaí to destroy it. And to think they're still hanging around. And to think that when the marine investigator, who I might have wrongly mentioned earlier, went to visit, and when the casualty investigation pill visited, the engine had been changed from an 8 horsepower to a 15 horsepower, an 8 horsepower to 15 horsepower, and the boat had left the secure area of the Garda station in Graven. It was meant to be secured. First of all, it was meant to be destroyed, and it was there, so there was a huge amount of questions to be answered by Garda Síochána. And it just is a murky case. And when the whale watchers came forward and when people refused to go to the inquest, they were requested to go, you know, they couldn't be compelled, but they were requested to go. This case would have to be reopened for investigation as regards the incident and how it occurred and what happened. But for Anne-Marie O'Brien, you know, several years later, putting up when she got nowhere with the Gardaí, putting up A4 posters on poles in Dungarvan town and Helvig. This family, who happened to be neighbours in the next 2 parishes away in Cappawhite and Tipperary, came forward. They had gone to the Garda station in Helvig, or in Ring, the day after the incident to report how to do it. Then they got capsized. And then when they were asked, the Gardaí were asked in Dungarvan to go, and these witnesses, volunteers, came forward. So we don't know how many more people came forward as a result of those posters and made phone calls or contacted Dungarvan Garda station. We'll never know. But the Barry family, too, who are deceased since young, and his dad and a young man, and there's more family members still alive. It took 5 months for Dungarvan Gardaí to go and take a statement of those men. And when we discovered recently, quite recently, that the engine was changing the boat in the last 6 months, of an evening at 5 o'clock, the gas could be at the Esmond home in Tipperary town the morning after 9 o'clock. When there was questions being asked how the engine was changed, what's this all about? And then they tried to tell us that maybe the engine wasn't changed at all, so they needed a sticker, the badge. Now, I have a lot of machines and a lot of engines. I know the badges that are always on the makes, they're pop riveted on, and you wouldn't erase them or change them very fast. And they wouldn't stick on us down with the heat of the engine, so they're part and parcel of the solid manufacturer of the engine. And the proud different engines, the Honda and others, and they're proud of their engines. They wouldn't have other badges put on them. So I'm just making the relevance. Anne-Marie and her dad had to travel to Dungarvan Garda Station, to insist that the Gardaí take statements when witnesses have come forward. 5 of them. And appointments were made and they were kept by the Gardaí, but eventually the statements were taken. I don't know what file went to the DPP from Dungarvan. I don't know what file that the superintendent sent, what reports and investigations. I have previous experience of files not going, being kept back, and ones that were suitable to the Gardaí side sent, and ones that weren't were kept. Never answered. So that kind of skullduggery and shenanigans that are going on in a series, in a big Garda station, that people have to have faith in. I support the Gardaí fully all my life, but we must root out this rot that's there, because with the Gardaí need all the support they can get from the public. As I said, the public appeal was made by him, and it's the 10th anniversary. We're approaching it next late April, May. And Anne-Marie and her family and friends are going to be forced to go down to Dungarvan and maybe do a reenactment. And I don't know why RT primetime investigates, with a big debate about the broadcasting licence, can't investigate these underhand, shoddy, I'm not talking about the Marine here, shoddy, lacklustre investigations. Because there's a tang of this one, and you can smell it in Ardmore from Helvig Head. That's what you could. And everybody locally knows, but they all said, I asked undercover people to go down and make inquiries, and they came back and said, keep away from it. And I had people coming to me from another incident, for 5 lives were lost out sea. And I had people from the Whitty disaster talking to us. And Deputy Ferris has mentioned other cases. They're countless. This is not acceptable in a modern democracy, when people lose their lives at sea or any place else. That is not proper site protection and investigation and proper accountability before the law. Tragic enough for the families to be able to get arrested. So we'll be continuing our struggle. The families and myself and others want to help us with An Garda Síochána, which is Chief Commissioner, Assistant Commissioner Finn at the moment, who's the latest. We've gone through all the hoops. Haven't met the Commissioner yet, but we'll be knocking on his door soon, because we need answers to why this happened, why the boat wasn't destroyed when the families requested it, why the engine was changed on the boat when the inspector went in to inspect it. And just this, I mean, the families thought the boat was destroyed, and the things was being used as a pleasure craft or for whatever reason by people, and it had got out of the Garda station, an engine changed in it, or someone went into the Garda station and changed it. I beggars believe. Most Garda stations are secure and very secure. It's a 24-hour pretty regional Garda station. So, look, Tommy, Minister, I do thank you again, Minister. I thank all the colleagues for supporting. Look forward to this bill on the committee stage, and this amendment, sorry, and hopefully being accepted and improved and whatever, and hopefully that it'll save somebody else's lives. And as I said, we're here to help if we can. And I appreciate your engagement, Minister. The fact that you've made some changes already in the board, and that you're willing to accept the reasonable proposals that are here, and that we won't be waiting for the European Commission to take us to European courts to make changes. It's important that we make them here, and we have the groundwork, and we have the engagement and the goodwill of the House, all sides of the House, to support you with this going forward. So I thank you, Cahill, for your forbearance, and I know it's a terrible evening, and everybody wants to get home. So I want to say, Buick is good.
Thank you, Deputy.